Hello everyone. I'm Clarence Gomez and I'm your host of this podcast and welcome to the Clarence Gomez show and my guest today is Sarah Baker, an Australian musical theater actress, dancer and singer. Hello Sarah, can you introduce your
Hello. Hi, John. How are you?
I'm okay. Can you introduce yourself to our viewers and listeners?
Yeah, sure. I'm Sarah Bakker. I grew up in Brisbane and I've done many musicals over the years. I started out quite young. I did Little Cosette when I was 9 in the Aussie production. And then when I was older, I was in Phantom of the Opera, Chicago, Mary Poppins in Australia. And then I got to do it on Broadway as well. So I flew over to New York and managed to be the understudy for Mary on Broadway and then Christine in Phantom. I then moved to London for 8 years and I did Follies. I did Chess, An American in Paris, Mrs. Henderson Presents, and I'm sure I'm missing something maybe, I'm not sure. And then 4 years ago, I moved back home to Australia, and I now live in Sydney. So yeah, that's been my quick and crazy journey, all wrapped up into a few seconds. But yeah, that's kind of where I've been, and I've resided here in Sydney for the last 4 years, and I have a beautiful little family now, and yeah, I'm a mum, so it's kind of all different.
Yes. Uh, uh, to our listeners from Australia, I want to tell you that Sarah has an upcoming show next month, December, that will start from December 11, Sweet Charity
Mhm.
in in QPAC, Queensland
Yeah.
Performing Arts Center. Can you tell us, Sarah? Can you tell us about that musical from our listeners because you are part of there, you are playing as ensemble there, right? Can you tell
Yes.
our listeners about that from Australia?
Yeah, sure. So it's opening in Brisbane, yeah, at QPAC, and the director and choreographer is Cameron Mitchell. Our musical director is Michael Tyack, and it's with Prospero Arts, which is a theatre company in Brisbane, which I've worked for before earlier this year with Dusty Springfield, the musical, and they're fabulous. They're so good, and it's a quick little season, but it's just got the highest caliber of people, amazing cast, and yeah, so much talent, and definitely a show you wouldn't want to miss. The show itself is about a kind of down in luck kind of woman called Charity Hope Valentine. It's such an iconic piece of theatre. It was first created in, I think, the 60s, 1966, I think it was, and then went on to become a movie with Shirley MacLaine. But it's, yeah, she's a bit down in luck and in love, and she doesn't choose the best men, and yeah, kind of, it's the story of her trying to find love essentially, and she works at the Fandango Ballroom as a taxi dancer, and so there's some really amazing ensemble numbers that I'll get to do, which I'm excited about, like Rhythm of Life. You've got Big Spender, which I personally love. What else? There's just so many good. Oh, Rich Man's Frug. That's another really iconic Fosse dance number. So as a dancer myself, I'm very excited to be doing it because it's so iconic.
Yes. Um, the
Yeah.
song "Hey Big Spender" that is yes,
Yeah.
a popular song. Also on Dusty, you work on Dusty, right? Because one of the lead cast in Dusty, the musical that you are in, I remember in Prospero Arts is one of my idol from and Juliet, Amy Palmer.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like her. Yes,
Oh,
because
she's fantastic.
she visited Southeast Asia where I live because I'm from the Philippines. She visited Singapore last 2023 and Juliet there.
Ah,
She
yes.
performed as Anne Hathaway along with Lorinda May Merrypore as Juliet and Blake
Yeah.
Applebee's as Romeo.
Oh, it's such a good cast. I saw that here too, and I loved it. And she is fabulous. She's so talented, and she's so lovely to work with as well. So, yeah, she's so good at Dusty. She's just fantastic.
Yes. Y- Yes. Also, I see that you are doing a music career and you are releasing an upcoming album that will release next year, 2026, called Kintsugi. Can you tell about that to our listeners?
Yeah, sure. The plan is to release like a small album next year, like an EP. Kintsugi, I'm still working on the name. I don't know if I will go with that yet, but the idea is of the album is because the reason I liked Kintsugi as a name was because I don't know if you know it, but it's a form of Japanese art which basically celebrates broken and repairing broken pottery. So rather than just discarding something that's broken, you kind of make it more beautiful by putting the pieces together with gold and silver and things like that. And I just love that thought. And uh, I guess like a spiritual kind of thought in that as humans we can be broken and things can hurt us along the way, or we can have experiences that slightly change us, but sometimes that's our superpower, is moving on from those and repairing those ourselves and kind of putting ourselves back together with beautiful gold and silver. So that's kind of where the album is coming from. So I may not use the name because there's a lot of albums and songs called Kintsugi out there. So I might choose something different. But for the moment, that's kind of the idea of it all. But yeah, I'm working on that at the moment, and hopefully next year I'll have something to release on Spotify, which I'm excited about.
Yes, that's nice. Also, I see that you are part of the original Australian production of Mary Poppins in 2010 with
Yeah,
Verity. With I remember the person who play with Mary Poppins is Verity, and the bird is Matt Lee. You know, I remember that
yeah.
you play as an understudy there, right? How was
Um,
experience playing
um,
understudy as Mary Poppins?
Yeah, I started out as an understudy, and then a few months into it, I then became the alternate. So I used to play 2 shows a week as Mary, and then I'd do ensemble 6 shows a week. And it was, yeah, that was my dream role. Like that was it. um,
Yeah,
I don't know if I'll ever find something that suits me so well again, because it was a bit of a unicorn role for me. I sat really well in my voice. I absolutely adore Julie Andrews. So she's my inspiration, along with Alicia Keys, two very different women. But yeah, so I loved that role, and you get to dance and you get to act,
yeah,
and it's just a beautiful show. So I loved it, and I loved being in the ensemble as well, like doing step in time, and yeah, it was
yes,
really great. So
yes.
my memory of Mary Poppins is super special.
Yes, because I like that musical Mary Poppins because it is one of my favorite musical. I like that song Super Califragilistic
Yeah,
Expialidocious. I really like that song because when I was a child, I heard that song on many nursery rhymes or children
yeah.
music because it is a children music. I really really like that song.
Yeah, it's so
Yes,
catchy. It's so catchy. It was tricky though because I had to say the word backwards, and that took a little bit of practice, but it was fun. And like, yeah, it's just got the best music in it, honestly. And I still love singing those songs to this day.
yeah.
It's just never gets old.
Also, we don't have a time and we talk about all the topic that we that we want to talk when I invite you. Here is the last question before you say
Yeah,
goodbye.
sure.
Yes, yes. This
Yeah, go
is the
ahead.
last question. What uh can you encourage our listeners from Australia on how to buy tickets to Sweet Charity next month? How they can buy it?
Oh. Oh, how would you buy it? Okay, so I'd imagine you'll go onto QPAC. that would probably be the Queensland Performing Arts Centre. I'd say that's your best bet. I can have a look now. QPAC Sweet Charity. If you put that into Google, that pops up. Queensland Performing Arts Centre Sweet Charity Prospero Arts Concert Series.
Yes. The, I will I will put the link on the description on my podcast so our listeners from Australia, mostly from Brisbane, can see that link and they can buy. Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. And you know the reason why most of my guests on my podcast are from Australia, even though I am from the Philippines, because most of my guests on my podcast are Australian. The reason is because on my viewers, uh, because I have an podcast. I use Spotify podcast and I see the analytics, and most of my viewers, my listeners from Spotify are from Australia, US, and Singapore. But in the
Oh,
Philippines,
wow.
it's only, yes. That's very surprising. Imagine I'm from the Philippines, but my listeners from my own country is only small. Most of my listeners are from Australia, Singapore, and the US. That's the the
Well done.
majority, yes. So that's the reason why I invite many Australian and Americans
Yeah.
where they are promoting their shows on my podcast. And I want to tell you
Yeah.
that, yes. And I want to tell you that I want to say thank you, Sarah, for guesting to my podcast and promoting Sweet Charity and talking about your upcoming album next year, Kintsugi. Thank you for guesting to my podcast and
No
it's,
problem. Thank you so much for having me.
yes, thank you, and it's time to say goodbye. Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye bye.
Bye.